Good morning. Time for breakfast. We're on Acts chapter 14. And it came to be in Iconium that they went together into the congregation of the Yahudim, and spoke in such a way that a great number of both Yahudim and Greeks believed. But the Yahudim who would not obey stirred up the nations and evilly influenced their beings against the brothers. So they remained a long time, speaking boldly in the Master, who was bearing witness to the word of his favor, giving signs and wonders to be done by their hands. And the crowd of the city was divided, and some sided with the Yahudim and some with the emissaries. But when a move took place by both the nations and Yahudim, with their rulers to mistreat and stone them, they became aware of it and fled to Lystra and Derbe, cities of Lycaonia and the country round about. And they were bringing the good news there. And in Lystra there was sitting a certain man disabled in his feet, a crippling from his mother's womb, who had never walked. This one heard Shaul speaking, who, looking intently at him, and seeing that he had belief to be healed, said with a loud voice, "Stand upright on your feet." And he sprang up and began to walk. And when the crowd saw that what Shaul had done, they lifted up their voices, saying, In Lycaonia, the mighty ones have become like men and come down to us. And they called Barnabas Zeus, and Shaul Hermes, since he was the chief speaker. And the priest of Zeus, being in front of their city, brought oxen and wreath to the gates, and wished to offer with the crowds. And when the emissaries, Barnabas and Shaul, heard this, they tore their garments and ran in among the crowd, crying out and saying, "Men, why are you doing this? We are men with the same nature as you, bringing to you the good news, to turn from these worthless matters to the living Elohim, who made the heavens and the earth, and the sea and all that is in them, who has past generations allowed all the nations to walk in their own ways. Though indeed he did not leave himself without witness, doing good, giving us rain from heaven, and fruit-bearing seasons, filling our hearts with food and gladness." Even with these words they still had difficulty in stopping the crowds from offering to them. But Yahudim arrived from Antioch and Iconium, and having won over the crowds, they stoned Shaul, dragged him out of the city, thinking he was dead. But while the taught ones gathered around him, he rose up and went into the city. And on the next day he went away with Barnabas to Derbe. And having brought the good news to that city, and having made many taught ones, they returned to Lystra and Iconium and Antioch, strengthening the beings of the taught ones, encouraging them to continue in the belief, and that through many pressures we have to enter the reign of Elohim. And having appointed elders in every assembly, having prayed with fasting, they committed them to the Master in whom they had believed. And having passed through Pisidia, they came to Pamphylia. And having spoken the word in Perge, they went down to Attalia. And from there they sailed to Antioch, where they had been committed to the favor of Elohim for the work which they had completed. And having arrived, and having gathered together the assembly, they related all that Elohim had done with them, and that he had opened the door of belief to the nations. And they remained there a long time with the taught ones.